Phylogenetics of fangs frogs, testing biogeographical hypothesis at the interface of the Asian-Australian faunal zone. This article describes the diversifications of Limnonectes in Southeast Asia, especially the Philippines and Wallacea. Frog has been known as a poor disperser across ocean barrier, but why Limnonectes is chosen? This is because Limnonectes can be found in Sunda regions, the Philippines, and also the Wallacea. About 21 endemic species out of 27 known species can be found in Sunda regions, while 4 endemic species out of 12 known species can be found in Wallacea, and 8 endemic species can be found in the Philippines. However, how does the diversifications occur in each continent? About 50 million years ago, the Peninsula Malaysia, Sumatra, Java, and Borneo were all connected to form land-positive peninsula or Sunda Shelf. However, Philippines and the Wallacea is separated by deep oceanic trenches. The Palawan is never been connected to the Philippines, but it was connected to the Borneo. Sunda regions, the level of divergence are high on the Sunda Shelf, and Limnonectes has occupied Sunda Shelf before the Miocene. The land bridge that connects Sumatra, Java, and Borneo are narrow, thus hinder dispersal among the landmasses and promote diversification. It has been proposed that the ancestor of Limnonectes is actually originated from the Sunda region, but not in the Philippines. How does the diversifications occur in the Sunda Shelf? It can occur due to dispersal across the barrier and also through vicariance. During the existence of land-positive peninsula, Limnonectes spread across the Sunda Shelf and being isolated by the barrier such as mountain range and river, and thus cause a new speciations. This speciation will cause a diversifications in the Limnonectes species. The second factor is due to the vicariance. When the sea level rises, it causes the Sunda Shelf to be fragmented. Thus, it also brings along the Limnonectes species. For example, the Limnonectes species in Sumatra will also produce a new species, while in Java also produce a new different species, and all of this can cause a Limnonectes species to be more diverse. Hence, on Asia and the Sunda Shelf, morphologically cryptic but molecularly distinct species are present in different areas. It has been suggested that the frog dispersed from Borneo to Philippines at least twice and Borneo to Sulawesi once or twice, while in Sulawesi to Philippines one times and Philippines to Sulawesi one times. The dispersal of Moluccas occurs from the Sulawesi, while lesser sundas from the Java. The dispersal of this frog from Borneo to Philippines can be seen in the dispersal of L. latensis and L. acanthe. There is two scenarios that can explain the dispersals of these two species. First, the ancestor of both dispersed from Philippines and radiate through the range. It means that the ancestor from the Borneo, but when it's dispersed to the Philippines, it then radiates to other parts of the Philippines except for the Luzons. The avenue through the Sulu archipelago or the Palawan. Second, the ancestor differentiate into L. latensis and L. arcanti in Borneo, and each lineage separately dispersed to Philippines via Palawans, L. arcanti, via Sulu archipelago by L. latensis. It means that the ancestor first differentiate in L. latensis and L. arcanti in Borneo, then they disperse to the Philippines by different route. For example, L. arcanti use Palawan as the avenue, while L. latensis use Sulu archipelago as the avenue. The lineage only in central and southern Philippines, but not in Luzon and associated island. One of the reasons is maybe Luzon was underwater or far away from Philippines at this time. In short, the diversifications of the frog in the Philippines is through the island hopping. Next is how does diversifications occurs within Sulawesi? Within Sulawesi, barriers to dispersal isolate lineage and bounded diversification into separate area of endemism. Portions of Sulawesi were at a lower position relative to sea level at various times, and ocean barriers may have been permanent or intermittent until recently across the base of the southwestern peninsula, across the middle of the northern peninsula, and possibly across other parts of this island. Other barriers such as ultra-basic soil types or large rivers may further subdivide biota of Sulawesi. Dispersal of Limnonectes on Sulawesi can be broadly divided into species whose distributions are, first, congruent with AOE. For example, due to the presence of boundaries such as Kotamagu City and Domago River that separate the NC and NA, cause the new speciation occurs between the species, and it causes the diversifications in these regions. Secondly is due to partially congruent with AOC in that a species is widely distributed in one AOE with limited extensions into others. For example, LCV modestus complex 2 and LSPV complex 2 occurs throughout the northwest AOE, but extend slightly into adjacent part of the WC's order NC. These species were probably once restricted to the northwest AOE, but have recently dispersed beyond the now absent barrier to disperse. Thirdly is incongruent with AOE in that a species is widely distributed in more than one AOE. For example, L species 1 complex is widely distributed in the eastern area. One of the reasons is that ancestors of this species reached Sulawesi after the retreat of the oceans that compartmentalized diversity in other fauna. In conclusion, on the Sunda Shelf, the Philippines and Sulawesi, probably the Moluccas and the Lesser Sunda Island, vicariance due to oceanic barrier influence dispersal and compartmentalize diversity on the fine scale. A single line to demarcate the interface of the Asian and Australian fauna region, although insightful, is an oversimplification of biogeography in Southeast Asia.